Okay, so Grace Point. This is the new film from director Rory Karth, who co-wrote the film with Paul Russell Smith. It is produced by Rob Harvell, John Owen Lowe, and Rory Karth. Executive produced by Jim Parrock, Jim Jordan, associate produced by Julie Emmons, Charles Porter, and Dean Thomas, with line production from Sanford Hampton. Ferron Kay took care of the music. Al Francesco is on cinematography. Corey Frost edits the piece. Right, production design, Jeffrey J. Barrows. Sean Bonner was art direction. Hair and makeup, we got Megan Deputy. And our cast. Right, so, Brandon Hayes is played by John Owen Lowe. His dad, Winston, is played by Andrew McCarthy. Right, a young version of Brandon is played by Colin Norris. We've got Luther Stone, played by Sean Carrigan. Sophie, played by Harlan Drum. There is Cutter, played by Jim Parrock. Right, we've got Ricky, played by Dean Thomas. Robbie, played by Aljamain Sterling. James Storm is Buck. Right? Lauren is played by Jennifer Trudrong. Our priest in the flashback is Chris Weidman. Right? Is that Joey? Joey is played by Edward Barbanel. Okay, so yeah. That is Grace Point, our cast. Now, the gist of the story, okay? So, where are we? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Hold on a second, people. Everything's just disappeared on me, which is odd. Okay, so what is Grace Point about? Well, a young man on his way to a remote drug rehab finds himself in a strange town, being chased by the locals as well as his own personal demons. This was a really interesting film, right? It's a real interesting film and something I was not expecting, right? Wasn't expecting this. It's very well put together, and I feel a lot of it is about the detail here, right? You have to be paying attention, right? We got a dad driving his son to rehab. There's friction on this drive, right? You can tell the son doesn't really want to go, but he's being forced into it. Things change though when they stop off at a petrol station. And this is a moment where, again, pay attention to the details. But I'm watching it, and all of a sudden, I'm like, hold on, is that Dean Thomas? Right? Motherfucking Dean Thomas from, UFC, right? Mixed martial arts. He's host of numerous podcasts. Dana White Looking for a Fight. I was very surprised. But everyone was good. Aljamain Sterling shows up. As I say, Chris Weidman's a priest, right? There was other people that you go, they look familiar, right? But yeah, no, the story is good. We got Rob Lowe's son in it, right? Rob Lowe's son is in it. He plays, he plays Brandon. And the interesting thing with that is his dad is played by Andrew McCarthy. And, what we looked at last year, Bratz, right? The documentary Andrew McCarthy put together about the Brat Pack and those films, those classic films and just everything around that time and how the media treated them, the perceptions, the thoughts and all of this. And what was interesting was in that documentary, Andrew talks about, Rob Lowe, John's dad, and how he thought there was this rivalry and he thought that he wasn't sure they were friends and there was this resentment, but there wasn't really. It was just, as a kid, you believe some things media say and it just all turns out to be like these preconceptions, So it's like they sorted everything out and everything was cool. But at the end of this documentary, it's then interesting to see that, Andrew's working with the son, right? But unlike some films, you know what I mean? And, we talked about them here, people. I think you do buy the relationship. You do buy the relationship of son and father, right? And that's a big one here. But also, right, at the beginning, you look at Brandon and he is an irritating brat, right? He comes off as this spoilt kid, right? He was helped out. That's the reason he's not going to jail. He gets to go to rehab. So there is some sort of influence going on. And, like the way he talks to his dad, just all of these things. You're just like, oh, this kid is irritating, right? The catalyst incident, the way, we see him just in the car, just his actions at the start of all of this. Yeah. But as the film goes on, we do see this change, right? And I thought that was handled well, right? Another thing I really thought was good, and it's another thing we don't always see. When we have people on the run and out for days, like they're always looking fresh to death. You know what I mean? Like, they don't look dirty. They don't look grubby. They don't look like they've been sleeping rough. Here, Brandon does, right? They do muck him up. So that was good. You know? And then it's just the way he talks to people, the way his interactions change through his experiences. So all of these things help bring you into the film. Now, there's a point where I start to think to myself, right? Could this be? And it's not, and here's the thing, right? I wouldn't say it's because there were these glaring things in the story. No. I think it's just because after watching so many films, right, and breaking things down and all of this, you just notice certain things, right? But I don't know if everyone's picking up on this stuff. I don't think everyone is going to get what this is as early. And that's a good thing, because, you know, I mean, getting hit with the swerve, yeah, no, that, like, it's done well, right? And then once we get the dominoes, right, all of it, like, and it's fed back to you, you're like, okay, right, you know. And again, I think they handled everything really well. I think the story, the experience, all of these things. The one thing, well, there's the two things. Firstly, it's the computers, right? It's the fucking computers, right? Because every time you do see something like this, they do use these kind of computers, and you do think to yourself, I feel we've moved on, right? I feel you can get some better computers at a really good price now. So I think we'd be using better shit. So there is that. And it's just a wink at the end. You'll get you'll see it, you know what I mean, once you watch this. It's just this wink at the end where I'm just like, God damn it, what are you doing? What are you doing, motherfucker? You know, but other than that, other than those two things, yeah, no, this Grace Point, very well done, right? Very well, and it's great because, you know, Entertainment Squad, they have put out some really good films. They've also put out some stinkers. Right? They've definitely dropped a few stinkers in the past. And you do start to go to yourself, oh man, like, oh, what's going on? But, yeah, no, they did not drop the ball with this one, right? And that's a great thing, right? Shakad Bernardson did say this about the film. Grace Point delivers the kind of edge of your seat suspense that audiences crave. It's a gripping psychological journey that keeps you guessing every step of the way until a surprising twist at the end. And I do think, yeah, Shakad, you've nailed it, right? You've nailed it, my friend, right? Andrew McCarthy had this to say: addiction touches and torments so many people beyond the one using. Entire families fall down rabbit holes of despair, but the rabbit hole in Grace Point is one I never saw coming. I think the film will be an emotional roller coaster for audiences. You know, and John Owen Lowe said, this experience was very personal to me. I related so deeply with my character and his struggles with sobriety that I knew this could be a special project. I'm really proud of what we accomplished. And that is, yeah, that's great, right? The passion in which everyone talks about the film, you do actually see that. You do actually see that in this film. You know, Rory said this: working with John Owen Lowe and this fantastic cast to bring this unsettling story to life was a thrilling experience. Grace Point will resonate deeply with audiences drawn to stories of redemption and mystery. So yeah, people, that is Grace Point. You will be able to check it out from the 28th of January. Right? It will be there on your favorite VODs. Now, I would say, right, if you enjoyed films, if you enjoyed things such as like Dagger, right? If you like things like Dagger, now Heretic, right? I say Heretic because when you look at that story, right, it's definitely an interesting setup and everything like that. My issues with Heretic were the fact of, are you sending two girls on their J's, right? But the actual, you know, emphasis, the oomph of the story, that was good. That worked, you know. But it was just that one bit in it that was a bit like, But yeah, if you like stuff like Falling Skies, right? What other good ones have we looked at recently? The Veil, you know, just all of these kind of stories, Strange Darlings, right? If you like those kind of tales, I think Grace Point is going to work for you. You know what I mean? So it is available, as I said, from the 28th of January. We'll put the links on the website so people go through, check those out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it because I really did. Grace Point.